The human genus from which we come has been on the planet for 2.4 million years. Homo sapiens, about 100,000 years, more or less. Cavemen, Paleolithic men, 40 to 50,000 years. Agriculture was invented 10, 11,000 years ago. McDonald's has been here since 1957. So where should we go to get our basic information about the human diet, about the fuel that sustains us the best? And this is a great slide. We are cavemen in designer suits with cell phones. Think about what that really means. It means that genetically, the anthropologists and the geneticists tell us that we are about 99 plus 99 to the 10th power, the same as this guy. So we are basically genetically made up just like he is. What did he eat? Now, I have a concept that I call factory specified fuel. Let me explain what that means. You buy a washing machine, it comes with factory specified soap, right? Doesn't mean it won't work with the other kind. It means that that's the kind that they recommend. That's the kind you get the best performance of. You buy a, Sony Discman, it comes with Sony batteries. That's a factory specified battery. That's the one they tested it in the lab. That's the one you'll get the best performance with. Well, every creature on the planet, man, animal, everybody has a factory specified fuel. It's the fuel that you run best on. Squirrels have a factory specified fuel, it's called nuts. Lions have a factory specified fuel, it's called hyenas and zebras. Now, you can feed a lion chocolate chip cookies in the zoo and you could probably keep them alive. But you're not going to get optimal performance. You're not going to get longevity out of that lion. You're not going to get essence of lion when you feed him the wrong fuel, when you don't give him what was the factory specified fuel. So what is the factory specified fuel for human beings? Now, this wonderful slide from The Economist it always gets a great laugh whenever I do it, but there's so much truth in it. If you look at this evolution, what you see is basically an evolving human being, but the guy on the left of the fat guy walking on the beach is genetically identical to the guy walking on the beach with the vat of soda and the hot dog and the belly hanging over. What's different is his environment. The guy on the right has the same genes as the guy on the left, but the guy on the left's genes were not adapted to the environment of the 7-Eleven and the 24-hour supermarket. So what happens on the right there is what happens when you take those genes and you put it in the wrong fuel environment. You feed the wrong gas to your Ferrari, and that's basically what's happening. So these cavemen people aren't around for us to ask them what they eat. And let me just back up a second and say, a lot of people say, yeah, but the cavemen only lived to 20, 30 years old. That's true. But there are some incredibly sophisticated studies of bones and tools and teeth markings and mummies, and they're able to tell pretty much what people died of and what kinds of things were dangers in their environment and what kind of diseases were developing even if they weren't full-blown. And these guys did not have the kinds of degenerative diseases that we've had for the last 100 years that have been so commonplace. They died of exposure, they died of harsh elements, they didn't have any kind of protection. A woolly mammoth would come and eat them, a tribesman would come and stab them with a spear. So there was harsh, brutal conditions, and they did die young. But they didn't have the diseases that are routine in 21st century industrial society. There's no evidence that there were 12-year-old kids walking around with type 2 diabetes.